Have you ever felt completely lost, confused, or even betrayed by a woman's sudden emotional shifts? Like you're constantly misreading the signals, always one step behind in understanding what she truly wants. That feeling of emotional whiplash, where one moment everything seems perfect and the next, you're left wondering if you ever understood her at all, isn't random. It's not bad luck. It's not even about her. Not really.
Today, you're about to discover something profound that will forever change how you see your relationships with women. Carl Jung, one of history's most penetrating psychological minds, uncovered a truth so powerful it might shake the very foundation of how you understand your attraction patterns. The female archetypes that silently drive not just women's behaviors, but your own unconscious responses to them. The pain you feel, that confusion, that sense of being perpetually misunderstood, that pattern of attracting the same emotional situations despite different women, stems from a fundamental misunderstanding. You've been looking outward for answers that can only be found by looking inward. You've been trying to understand her, when what Jung discovered is that you need to understand what she represents within you. This isn't just another relationship advice piece. This is about the profound psychological forces that Jung identified. Forces that operate beneath your conscious awareness, but dictate your emotional life with frightening precision. And once you understand them, everything changes. To truly grasp what's happening in your relationships with women, you need to first understand a fundamental Jungian concept, the anima. Jung discovered that every man carries within himself an unconscious feminine aspect, a complex inner image of what feminine means to him. This isn't simply a preference or a type. It's a profound psychological structure that shapes how you perceive, relate to, and are attracted to women. Your anima wasn't formed consciously. It was shaped by your earliest experiences with feminine figures, your mother being the primary influence, but also by cultural messages, traumatic experiences, and even collective unconscious patterns that Jung believed we inherit as humans. This inner feminine image acts as a filter through which you see all women, especially those to whom you're romantically attracted. When you feel that instant, inexplicable attraction to a woman, what's really happening? According to Jung, you're not just responding to her physical appearance or personality, you're recognizing something in her that matches your internal anima image. You're projecting your unconscious feminine aspect onto her, often without any awareness that you're doing so. This is why you can be drawn to someone before you even know them. Your unconscious has already recognized a match for your internal feminine pattern. It's also why you can be utterly baffled when a relationship with someone who seemed so perfect goes inexplicably wrong. Your anima projection clouded your ability to see who she really was. But the anima is just the beginning. Jung identified several female archetypes that exist within the collective unconscious, each with profound psychological power. Understanding these archetypes gives you insight not just into women's behavior, but into your own unconscious attractions and patterns. The mother archetype represents nurturing, protection, and unconditional love, but also has a shadow side of devouring, controlling, and smothering. If you find yourself repeatedly attracted to women who initially seem nurturing, but eventually become controlling, or if you're constantly seeking maternal approval from your partners, you're encountering the mother archetype in its complex manifestations. The maiden or virgin archetype represents purity, innocence, and potential. Men drawn to saving or protecting women, or who idealize women to an unrealistic degree, are often projecting this archetype. Its shadow side emerges when you expect a woman to remain perpetually innocent, or when you're disappointed by her human flaws after placing her on a pedestal. The seductress or femme fatale embodies sexual power, mystery, and transformation. She attracts through promise of both pleasure and danger. If you're repeatedly drawn to chaotic, intense relationships with women who seem to hold emotional power over you, you're likely encountering this archetype. The danger lies in becoming trapped in a pattern of emotional addiction, mistaking intensity for intimacy. The wise woman or crone represents wisdom, intuition, and inner knowing. Men who seek female partners who can guide them spiritually or intellectually are often projecting this archetype. The shadow emerges when you expect a woman to provide all the answers, or when you abdicate your own wisdom in deference to hers. Each of these archetypes exists not just in women you meet, but within your own psyche. What you're attracted to, and what frustrates you, in women, is often a reflection of your relationship with these inner feminine aspects of yourself. The great misunderstanding that leads to so much relationship pain is believing that your attraction patterns are about finding the right woman, when, from Jung's perspective, they're actually about encountering parts of yourself that demand integration. Now we reach the most confronting truth, the revelation that Jung himself considered essential for any man seeking genuine relationship fulfillment. Your most painful relationship patterns are not random misfortunes. They are precise psychological mechanisms designed to bring your unconscious into consciousness. The female archetype that most powerfully influences your unconscious behavior and creates the most profound impact on your emotional life is what Jung called the shadow feminine. This is the collection of feminine qualities that you've rejected, repressed, or never developed within yourself. It's everything about the feminine that makes you uncomfortable, frightened, or even disgusted. Here's the psychological bombshell that changes everything. You are unconsciously drawn to women who embody your shadow feminine. The very qualities that frustrate you most in women are often the exact qualities you've rejected within yourself. Do you find yourself repeatedly attracted to emotionally expressive women, only to become irritated by what you see as their excessive emotionality? That's your shadow feminine at work. Have you established patterns with women who you perceive as manipulative or indirect in their communication? That's not bad luck. It's your unconscious seeking out the expression of feminine qualities you've disowned. The most painful relationship dynamics occur when both you and your partner are unconsciously acting out shadow material. You project your disowned feminine aspects onto her. She projects her disowned masculine aspects onto you. And neither of you is relating to the actual person in front of you. You're both wrestling with shadows. This is why the same fights happen with different women. This is why you can change partners but find yourself stuck in identical emotional patterns. You're not experiencing different relationships. You're experiencing the same relationship with your own unconscious, just with different external actors. What men often mistake for a woman's irrationality or emotional inconsistency is frequently their own undeveloped relationship with the feminine principle of emotionality, intuition, and non-linear thinking. When a woman's emotional response seems completely foreign or frustrating to you, it's often highlighting an aspect of the feminine that you've cut yourself off from. This is the profound paradox Jung identified. The qualities in women that trigger you most intensely are precisely the qualities you need to recognize and integrate within yourself. Your emotional triggers are not obstacles to overcome. They're signposts pointing toward your own psychological wholeness. And here's where the true transformation begins. When you start recognizing that your frustration with a woman's behavior is often a frustration with a disowned part of yourself, you gain the power to break the cycle. You stop blaming her for embodying qualities you've rejected in yourself. You begin the profound work of psychological integration that Jung called individuation. Now that you've glimpsed the powerful unconscious forces shaping your relationships with women, you stand at a crucial threshold. You can continue the pattern of projection and frustration, seeking the perfect woman who will somehow magically complete you. Or you can embark on the hero's journey that Jung outlined, the path of integrating your own feminine aspects, of making conscious what has been unconscious. This isn't about becoming more feminine in any stereotypical sense. It's about becoming more whole, recognizing that qualities like emotional intelligence, intuition, receptivity, and relational thinking aren't female qualities. They're human qualities that you've been taught to project outward rather than develop within. When you begin integrating your anima, consciously developing relationship with your inner feminine, something remarkable happens in your outer relationships. You stop seeking in women what you should be cultivating in yourself. You stop expecting her to embody your feminine ideal and start appreciating her as a complete human being with her own journey. The patterns that felt like bad luck in love begin to dissolve, not because you've finally found the right woman, but because you're no longer unconsciously using relationships to play out your inner psychological dramas. You become capable of seeing women clearly, without the distorting lens of projection. This integration process transforms not just how you see women, but how you experience yourself. The emotional volatility that once characterized your relationships begins to stabilize. The confusion about what women really want starts to clear because you're no longer filtering their words and actions through your unexamined projections. You develop what Jung called psychological vision, the ability to see both yourself and others with greater clarity and compassion. Think about your most painful relationship experiences for a moment. The woman who seemed to change overnight. The partner whose emotional responses felt completely irrational to you. The attraction to someone who was clearly wrong for you, yet you couldn't stay away. Jung would say these weren't failures or mistakes. They were invitations to see yourself more completely. Every relationship conflict contains a hidden gift, the opportunity to recognize and reclaim a disowned aspect of your own feminine nature. The woman who expressed emotions you labeled as too much was showing you your own capacity for emotional depth that you've denied. The partner whose intuitive decision-making frustrated your logical approach was highlighting your undeveloped intuitive faculty. This is the profound gift of Jung's understanding. Your relationships stop being unconscious reenactments of old wounds and start becoming conscious spaces for genuine connection. The woman across from you is no longer a screen for your projections, but a fellow traveler with her own archetypes, shadows, and journey toward wholeness. The integration of your inner feminine doesn't happen overnight. It requires honest self-reflection, a willingness to examine your patterns, and often the courage to feel emotions you've long avoided. But each step toward integration is a step toward authentic relationship, both with yourself and with the women in your life. And here's what few relationship experts will tell you. This integration work is the true masculine journey. The authentic masculine doesn't fear the feminine, either in women or in himself. He recognizes it, honors it, and allows it to complement rather than threaten his masculine nature. When you can stand in your masculine strength while remaining open to your feminine wisdom, you achieve what Jung called the conjunctio, the sacred inner marriage of opposites that creates psychological wholeness. How might your relationships transform if you stopped seeing women as mysterious creatures to be decoded and started recognizing them as mirrors revealing parts of yourself that seek integration? What patterns might break if you began the work of conscious relationship with your own inner feminine? What might become possible in your romantic life when you no longer need women to complete you, but can relate to them from a place of growing wholeness? I invite you to share your experiences in the comments below. Have you recognized any of these archetypal patterns in your own relationships? What aspects of the feminine do you find most challenging to understand or integrate? If this exploration of Jung's insights into the feminine archetypes has given you a new perspective, please like this video and subscribe to delve deeper into these psychological truths. And don't miss our previous videos exploring other dimensions of Jung's revolutionary understanding of the human psyche. Remember, what you've called bad luck in love has always been an invitation to greater self-knowledge. The women who've confused, frustrated, or hurt you weren't obstacles on your path. They were guides pointing you toward wholeness. The key to transforming your relationships isn't finding the perfect woman, it's becoming a more integrated man,